First of all, whenever I talk about culture, I always talk about organizational culture, like you just said, because I find that often people make the mistake of thinking that culture is something that is tied into a region or a country or whatever. I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't do that. For me, culture is about organizational culture, and that is almost irrelevant of, let's say, the region or the country or the continent or the whatever. So it's about organizational culture. And it's like you just said, it's tied into the fact that I said, well, agile actually doesn't really exist because agile cannot be limited to one process, one method, one framework, whatever. Um, Agile refers to the mindset and the principles and the ideas almost in between the lines of the Agile manifesto. So agile is how you look at the world. And that starts indeed with people. So rather than saying that agile is one process or a set of practices, that's why I described agile in terms of, let's say, key characteristics. It's about people. So looking at people, meaning as human beings, and putting people first, understanding, acknowledging all the time that it's people doing the work. It's also managers, also people, by the way, and the work that we do is often consumed by people too, users, consumers, and so on. So it's all about people. And the next thing is it's all about agility in the sense of flexibility, being able to respond, being able to change direction, and so on. Flexibility in that sense, almost agility is like adaptability. And in order to be adaptable, we do work in short cycles, which we call iterations. And in each iteration, in each cycle, we're going to add work, we're going to change work, we're going to update work, we're going to delete work from whatever we've done before. And that's what I say, that's the second aspect of Agile, it's the iterative incremental process. Because it allows us to work in short cycles. In Scrum, we call that sprints, but in general, we call it iterations. But it, for me, essential is the combination of being iterative and incremental. Because if it would just be incremental, in a way that would mean you would just be adding stuff. Right? And the other aspect of being iterative is also working in iterations. That means in every iteration, we're going to work in slightly in the same way. And the third aspect is that the success of Agile is also like when somebody said we're going to do Scrum in a waterfall way. That's the problem, is that sort of that third criterion is in that sense you're probably not taking value as the ultimate measure of success, because Scrum is not about delivering an upfront defined scope against an upfront defined timeline for a certain budget. That is waterfall thinking. That's the old way of working. Scrum is about discovering and using short cycles that we call sprints to discover, always almost act in the moment and discover what is most important, what will bring the most value right now, which might be very different than what we thought we were going to do like 3 months ago. 3 months ago, we thought we were going to do this sprint, certain set of features, but by working that iterative incremental way, we have discovered that now in our today's reality, it's better to do something else. And so it's all tied into each other again, because Agile is not one process. Therefore, it's not just a methodological change; it's a cultural change. It's absorbing that sort of mindset of discovery, stepping away from predictions and total predictability. Does that help with the idea of cultural change? Everything is tied into each other, by the way. That makes it a little bit complex.
You said stepping away from predictions, and I missed the part that you said just before. Adopting the mindset.
Because if you want to be agile or in that sense achieve or acquire a high level of agility, you want to be adaptable. Now, adaptability is sort of the opposite of trying to predict the world. So that's about it. You can make up predictions, but if you're at least not aware of the fact that they will change, then the value you get out of an adoption of Scrum as an implementation of the agile mindset is not going to help.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that is the underlying cultural change.